HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced his part of what the president calls the Great American Recovery, okay? The HHS initiative is called Streets. Secretary Kennedy joins now to explain. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for joining us. Happy New Year. What is the Streets program? What is the acronym?
Addiction now is a catastrophic crisis for our country. It's the largest overdose deaths, the largest cause of death in Americans under 45 years old. The direct cost of addiction is about $92 billion a year, and the indirect cost, $890 billion. And every family now in this country is touched in one way or another. As you know, Chris, my own family, I lost my brother David to this. I lost two of my nieces during COVID were casualties to this disease, many, many other family members. And so I have a long interest in recovery. Was an addict myself for 14 years, and I've been 43 years in recovery. The system that we've been using so far has not worked in this country. It's a fragmented system where nobody really is responsible for the outcome to the addict. You have a lot of agencies checking boxes. You have housing, law enforcement, treatment centers, outpatient, and housing. And what this system does, it brings all of those together. So we intervene early, we catch people when they're on the street, and then we channel them into treatment, out of crisis, through detox, through treatment, through outpatient, and into sober housing. And that's absolutely critical because the treatment alone is almost always ineffective if it's not accompanied by major changes in life. And by getting people into sober housing, we can then get their lives stabilized. We can help them find employment, and all of these are part of the program.
The change in demeanor and dialogue on this issue will be welcome. Not you, of course, but the president had been very judgy about these populations in campaigns past. But the amount of money, $100 million, as you know, there are many states that spend a lot more than that every year on these issues. Why isn't it more funded if it's such a priority?
We're giving almost $1 billion to the states in block grants to do the same thing. Oh, it's not, Streets is just a part of the program, a much bigger program. And by the way, you know, the president, I've heard different things from the president. The president has been extremely compassionate about addiction. He's talked about it in his own family. He's talked about it, the plague that affects other Americans, about the calamities that people experience when they lose a son or a daughter to this disease. And so I've heard him talk about it with great compassion and feeling, and he's the one who is behind this drive to try to solve the problem for the first time. The Biden administration's solution was harm reduction, which means basically managing the decline, providing needles and safe places to shoot up. And at one point, apparently, even there was a proposal by my predecessor to buy crack pipes for people. These are not solutions. We need comprehensive solutions, and we're in the process of changing our healthcare system so that it's outcome-oriented. Right now, even in mental health, it's fee-for-service. Well, everybody in the line is incentivized to keep us sick. If you go to a rehab and then you relapse, the rehab gets double the money. And what we want to do is change that system so that the rehab will get paid for keeping you sober over a long period of time. They'll get one block grant, and then if they can keep you sober, they won't have to spend more money on you. And those are the kind of, we need outcome-oriented care that gives accountability to one person who's in charge of that addict and making sure that all along the line, do they have a job? Have they reestablished their relations with their families, with their friends? Are they part of a community? And all of those questions are not asked nowadays. People just check boxes. Did they check in at this time or whatever? And it's not working, and our addiction problem is now worse than ever.
So you have the one part of the homeless population that is outside of this, which is economic, that they literally have been forced to the streets. And that's a different policy discussion. But one point of pushback is that you can't make people get treatment if they don't want to. How do you deal with that?
Well, ultimately, first of all, addiction, about 37% of homeless people say that they've used drugs regularly over the past 6 months. Well, addiction may not affect you when you get homeless, but as you know, when you become homeless, all kinds of bad things happen to you, including mental illness. And with mental illness, we have a different program, and we have a community care program that involves the courts. That instead, right now, the courts have two choices: they send you to jail, or they commit you. And neither of those, and our program will do something different, which is to stabilize the individual, get them treatment in a home, but not an institution, and stabilize their lives. And these are people who are going to need lifetime care. They cannot take care of themselves. But it is a more efficient, more economic, and more humane answer.
Secretary Kennedy, I appreciate you coming on to discuss this. Everybody knows the need. Addiction is a secret to no one. We've all been touched. Thank you very much. Appreciate you making the case.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.